Hi, it's Carter, man. As you can see, I'm in my dungeon. Just finished weightlifting. little, little breathless here. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas season. And that's what's most important. When the babe in the manger came, that the world through him might be saved. And I'm going to tell you about something I said on Coffee with the Carter Man, America's #1 political activist podcast. You can see it on all the social media channels. Something I said on it that, since I know some of you don't necessarily watch Coffee with the Carter Man, even though you should, it's important that you know, because you're seeing more and more evidence of it every day, and it's horrifying. And that's what I call my 3 rules of Washington watching, okay? My 3 rules of Washington watching. And I'll make them quick, but I think they're important, and they're simple, so you don't even have to write them down. Number 1 is nothing. Let me preface it with this. Everything I tell you is based on nearly 50 years experience at the highest levels in Washington, political levels. Working with the White House, Director of Communications at the Senate, etc. All right, back to the list. Number one, nothing. Nothing, no thing that you see in Washington is as it appears to be, okay? Nothing in Washington is as it appears to be. Whatever you see them doing is sleight of hand. They are really doing, in many cases, the exact opposite. Like the one we always point to is when they passed the Border Control Act in 1987 and told us that this was going to seal the border, no more illegal alien invasions. That was 50 million illegal alien invaders ago. And they knew what was going to happen. They hadn't created a border. They had created a sieve, and they knew it, and they were happy as a lark about it. And it's that way with almost every bill they pass. I call it the nudge factor. They pass a bill that appears to say something the American people would want, and then they turn to the bureaucrats, and they wink, and they nudge, and they say, do the opposite. Do the opposite. We got this little loophole in here. Look at the section 3 there, paragraph 4, and it'll allow you to do whatever you want to the American people. Rule number 1, nothing in Washington is as it appears to be. Rule number 2, if government says it, it's probably a lie. Kind of a corollary, isn't it? Whatever they say to you is a lie. Is a lie. How many times have you heard over the past 2.5 years, well, you got that smarmy Kirby at the Pentagon. Ukraine is winning. What a schmuck. And then, of course, Biden. Yeah, but Mr. Putin is losing. Then he drools down himself. Lies. And they did it over and over again. They're still doing it. 600,000 Ukrainian young people have been slaughtered. Ukraine is losing more land every day. My prediction is Russia will probably take Odessa, but they're winning. If government says it, it's a lie. Okay? And number 3, I call it the 6-year rule. Anyone, whether they're in an elected office or whether they're in one of the many conservative Inc. organizations in Washington, liberals I don't even care about, conservative Inc. organizations, if those in the leadership roles, the politicians or the president, vice president, executive director of the conservative Inc. orgs have been there more than 6 years, don't trust them. Don't trust them. They have almost invariably, I was an exception, honest to God, I really was. They have almost invariably become homers, okay? They have, as we used to say when I lived in in the Caribbean, they've gone native, okay? We would have people move to Honduras, and the next thing you know, they're acting like they're Honduran. And I would tell them, you're not a Honduran. You stop strutting, like a little Honduran. Stop acting like that you really have totally bought into the system. If you want to, if you really want to become a Honduran, divest yourself of everything you own and live in a little one-room concrete hut, which, of course, they never went that native. But in Washington, they've been there 6 years. They've gone native, okay? They have drank the Kool-Aid. They've drunk the Kool-Aid. Trust me. I could give you examples and you would be shocked, because remember, I worked with all the conservative leaders, and they have once they've been there more than 6 years, they have a stake. They have a stake in keeping Washington as it is and making it worse, because that's how they make their money. That's why they devote themselves to raising more money and less hell, okay? Oh, they'll give hell lip service, but they really don't do anything, because their income depends on things being bad and getting worse. So they make it. So they keep it bad and they make it worse. That's it. There you go, folks. There are the Carter Man's 3 rules for Washington watching. Nothing in Washington is as it appears to be. Number 2, if government says it, it's a lie. And number 3, the 6-year rule. Anyone in office or a conservative in court who has been there longer than 6 years has probably drank the Kool-Aid, all right? Keep all that in mind. Go and look at my podcast. It's the #1 political activist podcast in America today. Coffee with the Carter Man. Have a good day. Merry Christmas.